Morning. So, I want to tell you a little story about the day that I was graduating from college and what happened and why I'm still here today to talk about it. So, I'm going to close my eyes. I think better when I cannot be looking at myself in the camera. So, the day that I was graduating from college, it was a nice, sunny, bright day, probably end of May, 1st of June. I don't even remember. 1987 in Charleston, Illinois, Illinois University. And, if you've been to any kind of college graduation or anything, this was outside. We have rows and rows of people. We've got the parents, we've got the students. I'm way back in the back. The stage is way up front. The sun is shining, and there's like all of these like dust particles. Like I can see the dust particles just flying through the air. And I'm sitting there waiting for the commencement and everything. I mean, it's like probably a 2 hour thing. I don't even remember. But in the process of me sitting there, all of a sudden I start getting a little tickle in my throat. And I don't have any water with me. And this tickle is getting worse. And basically, if I remember correctly, this was 1987. So we're talking long, long time ago. And I think if I remember correctly, I started like my throat was closing up on me or something. And I was starting to panic because I was like, I couldn't get this cleared out of my throat. I didn't have anything to wash it down with. For all I know, it was some dust particle in there that was just like aggravating my throat. But because I did not want to cause a scene and, get up in the middle of the graduation and everything that was going on, it wasn't like people were up wandering around. They were there to sit there until their names got called. So I started to panic. And I was kind of trapped because there wasn't really anything that I could do. So what I realize now, or what I realized in the middle of the night, was I did something that this Penny Pierce from this book I've been reading did, called going to home frequency. So what I ended up doing was I ended up just like, I mean, literally, I forced myself to just kind of go within and like calm myself down and get out of my head and stop thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh my God, what do I do? My thoughts had already started taking off, and my thoughts were making my panic attack worse, or the anaphylactic shock, or whatever was going on, because my body was starting to revolt against this, whatever was going on in my throat. And so I literally just like relaxed my whole body and just kind of like did this kind of a thing, and just forced myself to just relax every muscle in my body and stop thinking about what was going on and calmed myself down. I do not know how long it took me to do that, because at that point in time, I was basically out of my head. My head was no longer doing the thinking. My body was the thing that I was going within for, to save my life, I guess. And managed to get the itchy, whatever was going on, went away and stopped. And I was able to get some air in my lungs after a while, and I was able to breathe, and then everything was okay and it went away. And I still think about that every once in a while, and I think about, oh my God, what would have happened if I had not have, I don't know where that came from. I mean, that's not something that I'd ever learned in school, is like, if you're choking, what to do. And so fast forward to like this book that I'm reading, and she's the whole time I'm reading it, she's like, get to chapter 5. We'll talk about home frequency when we get to chapter 5. Well, yesterday I finally read chapter 5. And she was talking about how to get into home frequency when you're having a panic attack, an anxiety attack. So I've done this when I've gone to the dentist before. I did this one time when I was choking at a restaurant and not even realizing that I have done this to get out of my head and make my body quit, attacking itself, I guess is the best way. Because basically, I suppose a negative thought that goes bad and rampant and causes you to have a panic attack is your brain taking off, going the wrong direction. So anyway, as I'm laying in bed, I was kind of playing around with how she suggested doing it, is like you stop and you go within your body and you kind of you listen to, you don't listen to what's going on the outside, but it's like you listen to your body and you listen to like what's like, are your ears ringing or buzzing, and listening to your heartbeat and listening to your body talk to you in whatever way that is. It's like sometimes I can feel like this prickly feeling on the top of my head, and sometimes I can feel different things in my body. So I have gotten very attuned to paying attention to my body gut feelings. Is this a yes thing, a no thing? Is this a bad thing to do, a good thing to do, or whatever? And so I feel like there's somebody out there that needs to hear that can be done to stop a panic attack or whatever. So whoever this message is for, try it sometime. When a negative thought takes off in your head and you're like, oh my God, I just lost my job. What the freak am I going to do? Or you find yourself in hysterics. Like, I apparently didn't do that when I found myself in hysterics when I had that big download back in March. I did not go to home. Well, maybe I did go to home frequency. I called my divine masculine. That was my home. He is my home frequency, apparently, in some way, shape, or form, because he's the one that brought me back to, like, out of my panic attack. Okay, so this is totally not going where I thought it was going to. So anyhow, think about how you might be able to use that going within when you need to calm yourself or you're in a fight with somebody. I don't know. It could be used in all kinds of ways, shapes, or form. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I felt like there must have been somebody that needed to hear that, since I was awake in the middle of the night and then thinking about the graduation and realizing, like, oh my God, I did that. Went to home frequency to save my life and went to my divine masculine home frequency to stop the panic attack that I was having when I was having a really big download. So I have apparently found ways to do that. So hopefully someone finds this helpful. If you have any comments, let me know. I will talk to you later. Bye.